Hi, welcome back to another episode of Demystifying Debrecen, the podcast. I'm your host, Zoya.
And I'm your host, Haneen.
And we're here with a very special guest. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Sania Tasneem, also the page handle medstudentjournals, and I'm third year, and I'm from Bangladesh, but I've lived in UAE my whole life.
Thank you so much for coming.
No problem.
All right, our first question. How did you find the university and why did you choose it?
I actually, I didn't find it. It's my dad who found it because one of my family friends was here before. But then the worst part is that when he came here, he had a good time and he only told my father about the good time. And that's what my father relayed back to me. And then the next thing you know is that the only thing in my head was that my dad was suggesting either I go to China or I go to Europe. And China's a big no. Please, I don't want to sound racist or anything. It's just the language and everything is just much harder to adapt to because I've had family friends go there. So I was just like, okay, I don't mind Europe. So I suggested Charles, and my dad was just like, I'll bring something to the table. So he got Debrecen. And
Charles University in Prague?
Yeah. So basically, I did for both of them. I did entrance exam, but Charles took its time to release the results, whereas Debrecen is immediately. So my dad was just like, we don't know if they accepted you. The deadline is coming close, so let's just go for it. Go for this. And 2 days later, I got the acceptance for Charles.
Ooh,
yeah, you best believe that was like happy and sad tears. Like it was so bad. My dad kept calling the university, can we refund? Can we refund? They were like, no. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's the thing about uni that you have to pay by June and the full amount.
The full amount.
It's not refundable.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how it came about it. By the way, my family friend, he failed that year and he left.
Oh no.
Yeah. The year I came here, he failed that year and he left. And my dad was like, how come I'm only finding this out? And I'm like, okay. So that's how it came about.
Actually, one of the students who recommended me this uni.
He also.
Yeah. Like he made it seem like it was very nice. It was very chill, and that like he was like passing. And I didn't really ask which year he was in. But when I came here, I realized that he was accepted into BMC, not first year. And he like got a low grade in BMC that he's in pharmacy now, not in medicine. Even though he recommended it, it's so nice, it's very beautiful. You should come.
No.
That was like a whole shock to me, like to even know that he was in pharmacy. Because I didn't assume that he went to pharmacy.
There's no way. The thing is, it's now that I'm here, when I actually hear people from back UAE when they go like, how's that place? Because it's cheap and it's 6 years. Where do you get this combination, right? So when people ask, I either ignore them outright or I go like, no.
Don't do it.
I mean, this university is good, but I don't think people are ready to realize how, like, the problem is not even the studies, it's everything else. You know, the communication is the biggest problem in my opinion. Like if the professors are willing to communicate, or if there's just that, added awkwardness removed between the international student and the professors, I feel like everything would be so much smoother here.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like over the years it's become a little bit like administration versus students as opposed to administration with
that
students.
Is so true. Yeah.
It's not like America. Like in America, the professors have close relationships to the students. Here, they're kind of like every lecture we have a different lecture. There's no connection.
Yeah, you have to like fight for that connection.
My sister studies in Canada, and one day she just didn't want to, like, she just wanted to fly back home. So she had an assignment assigned to her and she was going to miss the deadline. She just emailed her professor, miss whatever, I'm going to miss it. They were like, okay, I'll open another date for you, just submit it then. And I'm like, wow, the privileges.
I wish.
It's crazy actually. When I told my sister that over here, you don't even really email the professor ever. My sister's just like, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
So, how's it like being in third year?
Actually, it's such a huge jump from
Huge
second,
difference, right?
right? Because in second year you're so packed, but it's less subjects, but you're so packed since day one. And every class, like you said earlier, that it's in fourth year you can be late like half an hour, it's okay. In second year it's the opposite. You're late like 2 minutes and they're like, no, that's an absence, go, be
Yeah.
elsewhere. So that's why, like, from second year to third year, it's so relaxed. That first semester of third year, when I started, it was so relaxed that I actually got bamboozled in the finals. I took it too easy. I was just like, yeah, everyone's saying it's easy, I should just relax. So Patho really hit me in the final.
Yeah.
It really did. So that's why, but thank God that worked out really well. Actually, I got Chang. Yeah, he was
Wait.
amazing.
Love him.
But after that, anyway, so now that we started this semester, I can feel the pressure a little bit, but still nothing like second semester. I mean, nothing
Yeah.
like second year and first year.
Yeah,
But it's actually like, this is nice. How do I say? Like, it's keeping me on my toes, but I have
not
some time to.
crazy difficult.
Yeah, like I have some
It's
time
like
to
difficult,
breathe.
but not in a,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Enjoyable, difficult as opposed
We
to
were
like,
talking about it the other day. Third year is like our favorite year.
yeah,
It's
seriously.
amazing. Especially like fourth year, it comes a bit with the struggles where you're thinking about the future, but in third year you're still like not thinking about the future. You're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like chilling, taking the time
You're in
off.
the perfect transition
Exactly.
zone.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
But what was you guys' favorite subject in third year though?
I loved pathology, to be honest.
See, I want to say that, but I don't have a professor who is that,
I need somebody to show me their phone so I can look up the subject list because I actually
Where-
forgot what's. Do you have the list of subjects?
No, I can tell you the subjects. There's internal, there's patho.
I'll say internal, 2 and
micro.
immunology. Internal 2 and
Micro.
immunology were my favorite.
Yeah.
I see immuno being a lot of people's favorites actually.
Because
It's
immuno is such a
so
nice
good.
department. They're
Yeah.
so like they provide you everything that you need.
Mhm.
They like explain things in depth. If you ask them, they'll like tell you. They have DDKs. They have everything. They're like very student interactive. They're like what we wish, like what American universities have.
Yeah,
every day?
yeah, yeah.
That's what.
It's like you want that kind of relationship with a department. See, I want to say patho actually because I like studying patho, but I wish I had a better professor. Not that he's bad. He just makes his TA do all the work.
So going into third year, with internal 1, we usually get to like they tell us you have to get your own stethoscope, and we go buy our stethoscope. How was that?
It was like the first big girl steps to medicine. You know what I mean? Like it felt like, okay, this is what medicine.
What color is yours?
Mine is, the dark turquoise. That's the color. It was.
Oh my god, mine's the same.
Oh my god, I love that color. What about yours?
Mine is purple.
I actually have a friend who has that color. I really like that color too.
The light one or the dark one?
The dark purple.
I have light purple. Like if Izzy Stevens, if you watched.
Oh, of course. Which med student actually? My significant other hasn't watched that show. He hates it. He thinks it has nothing to do with medicine. It's such a waste of
it's drama.
But can we
That's
not
not the
lie
point.
about the fact that that's what got me to medicine? That's what actually motivated me. It was bad, but no one should ever do this. No one should ever just off of a show come and study medicine. But thankfully,
Unless it's Dr. House, because Dr. House is at least a little bit realistic.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy is.
No, it's not. It's drama.
Yeah, but like
Come
some
on.
of the procedures though, I like, let's say when we're learning something in uni, and then I remember, oh my god, that happened in Grey's Anatomy, and then I tell the professor about that, and they're like impressed. Oh my god, how do you know that?
Yeah, my friend Elul does the same thing. She's always like, oh my god, I know this. And then she explains it, and then I'm like, where'd you get that from? She's like,
No, I only paid attention to the drama. What are you talking about? I didn't pay attention to anything medical in that show.
Really?
Yeah, I love the hustle that they made it look like, like waking up early in the morning. Oh my god, they're so tired. They make it look so easy, but so tired. And I'm just like, oh my god, can't wait to live that life. Which person thinks and goes like, yeah, I love the idea
You're
of
not
being
the only
tired.
person though. My cousin really wanted to be a doctor because of that show, but she ended up dropping out of pre-med in America in favor of business degree. Because she realized it was the reality of it set in.
Is she happier now?
So much.
See, I should have done that. I'm just kidding. I actually like medicine. I'm actually here for more reasons than just grades.
I can imagine the autopsies also felt really weird.
Yeah, it did. The thing is, I'm actually very sensitive to smell in the sense that I don't not all kind of bad smell get to me. I personally like certain smell. Even personally, I don't even know what smell.
Yeah.
So when the first time I went into autopsy and the smell, it's so like you can agree. It's
I know what you
it's
mean.
so
It haunts my
different.
eardrums.
You cannot compare that to anything. And when
No, you can. I feel like it smells like a butcher's house.
like I felt like the closest that thing smelled, sorry, it's not a thing, it's a person, but the person smell too is like really bad rotten chicken, you know?
It's like a butcher's
Yeah,
house.
like you left the chicken out and you forgot to leave it, you know?
It's like the
For-
smell is awful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for context, in Deberson, during patho class, we see real dead bodies, real fresh dead
Yeah,
bodies.
Yeah,
Because
that's
a lot
the first time, and you see them the
Yeah.
first time because in the first 2 years in anatomy you're seeing dried
Yeah.
cadavers to dissect, but in third year you actually start seeing
Yeah.
autopsies.
And I think the first, I don't think I was that phased by the looks of it. I was okay with it. It's just truly the smell.
It is. Everybody says
Yeah.
that. Everybody
Yeah.
says
Yeah.
that. Honestly.
Because because coming, you know, I don't know if you guys watch like gory shows like Dexter or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I love these kind of shows, so that's why it was not a problem. But the smell, oh my goodness!
Mhm.
Like I wear double layered mask, by the way, not to be
Yeah.
dramatic, but that's how I.
And a lot of people do, and then I would bring a perfume with me, and all of my friends
Because
would be
I
like,
feel
spray
like
it
I'm
inside my
carrying
mask.
the smell outside, and I don't want to do that. So the first thing I'm doing is I actually carry it with me right now. I spray myself quick, so
Yeah.
I think we have a friend who used to wear like a whole two friends or three friends who would wear like a
Double
whole,
masks?
no, a whole like scrub or something.
Oh yeah. They would get
Damn.
their own scrubs and change in the bathroom
Like
area.
disposable.
wow, they're
Yeah.
doing the most.
Yeah, I
Like I understand. Like the smell really does stick around in your
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like a tip to remove the smell is like to eat a bubble gum. Personally, I couldn't do that because like I feel like I'll puke.
Yeah,
I
honestly.
can't even eat anything before class.
Exactly.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
But like, okay, apart from stethoscopes and autopsies, is there any like transition, like second to third, that you really like?
I think it was
Strategy.
internal. I had the perfect teachers for internal.
Really?
She, I don't know if you guys know her, Dr. Agatha.
Which internal are you in? B? ABC?
I was in B the
Oh,
first
okay.
semester. Now I'm in Ruma, and it's okay. But my first ever internal was the best
The
because I
best.
actually had this doctor. She looked like she enjoyed being a doctor. Not because she was forced to, or she has to take, no, like she's going in, she's holding the patient's hand, she's playing with their fingers, she's asking them, did you eat, what did you have to eat, did you like it? She was just so nice. And I feel
Wow.
like when you start third year and when you have so many new things that feel like medicine, this was the realest and most inspirational thing to look up
Like
to.
you're actually
It
like
encourages
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
You're like
Wow.
it feels worth it. Like,
Yeah,
the thing that
exactly.
you went to
Like,
feels worth it.
she's so, like, you can tell she's old, but you can tell that she's happy with where she is. And when at the end of the internal practice, when she was like, you got this, Sonia, when she knew my name without looking at the list, I'm like,
Cries.
please stop. You're making my heart shine. You're doing all the cute things. This is making me too happy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was so nice. Like, she was the best. Absolutely. I don't know if anyone had her, but our whole class loved her. She was so nice. And then we have another professor, which was a guy. He was okay. He was being, himself. But she was the best, personally.
I'm glad that you had that.
Yeah, I'm really glad you had experience. I feel like we also had like some nice
yeah.
people in internal A. Our internal one was in internal A.
Yes,
Yeah.
look, we also had like a doctor, mine, Sarah's favorite. We always used to go with him. He used to make us like do history taking and teach us. And like he used to talk to us. He was like a very nice professor.
I think
Not a professor, a doctor.
internal one is a great class, especially
Yeah.
because it intros you to like how the rest of the internal medicines are going to go and how much you because starting from third year, I feel like a lot of what you learn is kind of on you. Like there's a good chunk of it. Like
true.
you can actually do the bare minimum and you'll be fine, I think. But if you go out of your way to say like, oh, I want to see this, I want to see this kind of patient, I want you to show me this kind of thing, the professors are going to listen to you. They're going to be like, yeah, sure. Like in endocrine, we're doing internal 4 right now. I literally specifically asked for like certain patients. I was like, can I see someone with hyperthyroidism? Can I see someone with hypothyroidism? The professor would be like, okay. And like in obstetrics and gynecology, if you said, okay, I want to stick around in the labor, like we decided like we're going to stick around in the labor ward for a little while after our classes ended. We ended up staying for like an hour or 2 hours to see like different labor and like C-sections and like other stuff.
Yeah, I also really wanted to try and do an exam, like a digital vaginal exam.
Yeah.
And then like I asked the doctor if I can do that. He's like, stick around, maybe there will be a patient that would let you do that.
Yeah.
And it was so nice. He took me in, and he just helped me and like made me do it. And yeah.
And like you said, it makes you feel like it's worth it, like sticking around and actually doing the extra stuff.
There's a bit of a grind.
Yeah, I do think, which I agree with you a lot when you say that it's a lot on yourself, because they actually just do the bare minimum and because they don't have time. Yeah. So when you actually show you're interested, then they show they're interested back. I actually, because a lot of people in our class, I can tell that they are very studious, they're very smart, but when it comes to like being present in the clinical aspects of it, they're just
hang back.
Yeah, they're just there, you know. They're like, for example, this internal, we actually have to ask a lot of questions because it's autoimmune diseases. And yes, I understand that the questions can get very repetitive, and I'm not gonna say I'm any better than them, but it's so hard because they're so smart actually in class, but they don't ask questions. It's actually so awkward when they bring the patient in and we're just there and the teacher's just like,
ask.
You have nothing to ask?
But okay, that is a very internal do experience. By the time you get to like 3 and 4, you're gonna get like, it's gonna get easier for everybody.
Hopefully, because I feel like whatever is happening right now, I'm not liking it. I wish I have more confidence to ask more questions, or my class does more talking and stuff. But it's just the teacher's literally sitting there and she's like, you have anything you want to ask? Anything? And we're just there like, no. It's actually so awkward.
So I'm a really big fan of your studygrams, Med Students Journal. You post like really cute reels, and like it just makes the person look so nice. And even sometimes you post like study tips, or not study tips, like you studying.
Yeah.
And it inspires me to actually study. So like, what inspired it?
Thank you. Actually, this is so funny. What inspired it is my lack of discipline. It's because I I am so, I don't know if anyone ever does this. I have to have something playing on the background, and that's how I should be studying. But that became so toxic in the sense that I do find something to put in the background, but then I'm not studying, I'm watching that. So I was just like, so I am actually very drawn to people who have a really nice, disciplined life. So I was just like, you know what? Maybe if I start a page, it'll keep me disciplined. Because there's no way I'm gonna prep to study and not study. Doesn't make sense. Like there's no way I'm gonna set up all my books, have my iPad and everything ready, and just make a video and then close it and go back to watching. Like that's like kind of being a scammer, you know? So in that sense, yes, that helped. So it helps a little bit in the sense that at the beginning, the motivation was really high, keeping up with the page. And then as time went by, I was just like, do I really care about this? But then every now and then, I actually get people going like, oh my God, this reel is so cute. Oh my God, your notes are so nice. And stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should keep going. Maybe it's worth it. And that's why I it's like an on and off game. So that studygram is there to keep me in my discipline. And that's why it's the thingy. But also I get inspired by a lot of other people around me. And my biggest inspiration are actually people in medicine who are not even here, like in US and stuff. They actually have time in their hands to like fit so many things, and they make it look so easy actually. So in my head, I thought that maybe it is that easy, maybe it is that effortless, but it's really not. Like even
it's just romanticizing the pain.
That you know what, you need to put that in stone. Like that's perfect. It is romanticizing the pain.
One of my favorite Instagram accounts for like medicine, like whatever, is A Young Doctor's Journey. I don't know if you know that one. So it's a doctor who like graduated from, I think, Semmelweis.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh, she graduated?
Yeah, A Young Doctor's Journey on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I feel like she does a really good job of not romanticizing the pain. Like she shows the reality of it. That's why I like follow her. I'm like, okay. She will literally post reels and be like, this is the background of that reel, you know, like.
Yeah. The thing is, I do think there are two sides of a coin. Like there's someone who really likes it romanticized so that they get inspired and, you know, motivated by it. And then there's the other side of the coin who are just like, come on, guys, let's not make it look like it's all happy sunshine. Like we're actually dying. People are not showering. This is how the house. This is the house looks like. Like we take takeouts. These are real stuff that happen behind. That is so true because exam season. You will not see me on that page.
I mean, like, we show up to unis in our PJs in a way.
Yeah.
I like these days I've realized like I've had so much to do that I've literally barely been home and my house looks terrible. Like I'm literally out like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the last like 2-3 weeks. There's just so much to get done. And then I look at these like Instagram reels, I'm like, how are you guys making these videos on top of all?
That's what I'm saying. If my videos look like that, I'm telling you, that's not how the day is. Like it's supposed to be motivating people, but do not for a second think that it was as easy as it was. Actually, yesterday I posted a reel about like eating out and having a chill day and an elective and all that. I actually cried before that because I was so hungry and I was like pestering. I was just like, please, let's go find something to eat and stuff like that. It was then when I finally found the place to eat and everything, I was like, okay, I'm calm now. I'm relaxed. I guess we'll make a reel out of it.
You're getting
exactly.
Yeah. No, honestly, there's such a like I think your Studygrammer is a great thing to have in the realm of Debrecen social media, Debrecen student social media, because I realized that that's a growing that's a growing circle.
Yeah.
Before it used to be absolutely nothing. When you looked up Debrecen, you wouldn't find anything. But now you have like your Studygram, a couple of other Studygrams. You have Instagrapher. You have like us, I guess.
Foodie, the food gram.
Yeah, Juju's Foodie.
I love her page. She makes everything look so good.
Yeah, and so like it's a great addition to have that like little social media circle Debrecen that we have right now.
Yeah.
As a Studygram, I don't have a way to say this. Wait 1 second. You can't say Studygram user, Studygram person. A Studygrammer?
Yeah, okay. I'll take that.
Surely you have some tips and tricks for first and second and third year, like what resources that they should use, what techniques they should use.
I think because my thing is still relatively new, I am still learning as you guys are learning. But personally speaking, the thing that's worked the best for me is when I'm teaching someone else what I have learned, which I don't know if you guys have ever tried. It's like, because when I'm teaching it to someone else, I have to teach it perfectly. Yeah. Because if I make a mistake teaching them, then they'll learn the wrong thing. So I have to be mindful of what I'm teaching them. That has worked for me the best. Or actually just reading it out loud. I know a lot of people do spaced repetition. With spaced repetition, personally, I feel like I lose track of what am I doing. Because sometimes you have to prepare for SATs in the middle. So what if you have spaced repetition and then you have to study for this SAT in the middle of that? And that for me is really hard to keep up with personally.
My thing with Anki or spaced repetition is that I cut down the number of cards depending on how much time I have in a day. So for right now, I'm studying for the USMLE, but it's like 20. So at the moment, my load is like 10 new cards, 100 repeats. But on like a good day, on like I know SATs, nothing else to worry about day, I'll have up to 100 cards and 1,000 repeats.
By the way, I have no idea what Anki is.
Really? Okay, I'll explain to you.
Because I know a lot of people use it, and because a lot of Studygrammers do say that they do like 1,000 Ankis and stuff, and I'm like,
if
it's genuinely a flashcard thing, how are people just finishing 1,000?
I'll show you on my computer in a second because it's open right there.
It's because I know it's a flashcard app, but because people it looked so complicated when I first opened it, but
it's not.
It's really not.
It's really not. But it depends on you actually. If you're making your own flashcards, you might make them longer. But I use pre-made decks, which are very short. Like they're literally like, okay, what does TSH trigger, and then the answer, and then you can just like, okay, what do you use to treat this disease? Dopamine agonist, bromocriptine. So like,
it's like the Quizlet.
Yeah, is it like Quizlet?
It's a little like Quizlet. But what about you, honey?
Personally, what I do is, if it's like a single day, the way I study, I try to use a Pomodoro. Like I open the app. It's like it gives like 20 minutes of studying and then 5 minutes break, and then the longer break. I like in exam period, I stick to that so much.
Mhm.
But during the semester, of course, I procrastinate.
Mhm.
And the way I study is basically I have to like read something, like not read it, watch videos, learn it properly, and then I learn everything, and that takes time
Yeah.
of me. And then like I have to have 2 days, 3 days just for revision.
Mhm.
Without the revision, I do poorly.
By the way, I have a question for you guys. Do you guys use iPad?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I use an iPad.
Do you think iPad was truly your academic weapon? Personally speaking, I got the iPad thinking it was, but then it really didn't do much for me.
I mean, I never used an iPad, or like I used an iPad briefly.
Yeah.
But I felt it wasn't that like I got an iPad for a brief period of time in third year, and that's the wrong time because that's by then like I had learned how I study, and it was not iPad based, and so I can live without it. But I don't like you guys.
Personally, I like it for making notes because, like, the way I study, let's say if I learn something, I like to write notes. I don't read those notes again because I don't trust myself.
That's exactly.
But I like it to put the information in my head. Like, this is how I use it. Like, I type in the info, and then I'm like, okay, I learned this. But then when I like want to revise, I use like a textbook or like a pre-made notes by someone else.
Yeah,
because
that's
I don't
so
trust
true.
myself.
Throughout the semester, that's what I do as well. Like, for example, for Pathway right now, I'm watching Osmosis. As I'm watching Osmosis, I make the notes on my iPad. But God knows I'm never going to look back at that again. I'm just doing that.
Right.
So I just somehow remember what I wrote. But then also, to be fair, is that
you can do that on paper.
Exactly. And I don't know, with paper, I just remember it better. I can't tell you what it is.
I think so.
Yeah, that's exactly why I got all my notes printed, because I just know. I don't know what it is. For some people, iPad really, really works. Like, I have my significant other. iPad is like the biggest academic weapon on him. He excels with it on a different level. Yeah, I could not.
Some people are built like
Yeah,
that.
that's
For
what
me,
I'm saying.
I have to also have like a physical paper to study from.
Yeah, I love paper and pen. I guess I'm just gonna stick to that.
I think like paper and pen is like the classic time tried #1 study technique.
And it's been proven multiple times as well. Like
100%.
you remember better, you retain information better.
There's also like Cornell note taking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that really helps. But the honest to God truth is the only way that you can like really get better at studying or really come to understand study techniques and tips and tricks is by getting to like third or fourth year. And like that's when you realize like when you've given all these exams, it really like sets in for you how you study.
Also because during third year you do have the time to explore.
Experiment,
exactly. You have that enough time.
That's when I started using Anki.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I think I will look into that Anki because I was always hearing about it, but I was never curious enough to like look into it. And my significant other did open it, but it looked so complicated. I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this right now. So yeah.
There was something that you told us that you want to talk about, which is
your repeater experience.
Yeah. So basically, the only reason I want to talk about this is because I know personally a lot of students here have failed at least 1 year. It's actually very rare for people to just go through 6 years with no problem, which honestly, kudos to you. Congratulations. Like, you've been through the hardest.
I actually think most of it depends on luck.
But whatever it is that got you no, don't do that. Like obviously you worked hard. Like you worked hard for it, obviously, and like there's no way just luck alone will get you. There has to be good combination something, but definitely you put your work for it because it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah. So personally, the only thing I want to say about repeating is that I should have been graduating by now. But I'm not, and I do feel bad about it, especially when I see my own people, they're prepping for graduation. It stings a little, but it's been a while since that's happened, since I failed, so it doesn't bother me as much anymore, except I only want to say this during the podcast. It's because I know a lot of people fail a year, and to them it's like, what's the point? But they still continue because I feel like deep down inside, you're too deep into it. Why leave now? But then people, when they fail first year, they're like, okay, we won't repeat the same mistake, and then they go deeper into it. And personally for me, when I failed the second year, I was like, okay, but what's the point of leaving now? I have to continue. And then I failed the third year. So you see, it's like a cycle. It's like a loop. But the thing is, if I really didn't want to continue, I would have left. But personally, maybe deep down somewhere, I really, really want to succeed in this. And it was genuinely my dream to be a doctor. This is not like, I can tell you, if someone had failed as many times as me, they would have left by now, especially if they didn't want to do medicine.
Right.
But I really, really want to excel in this. And the only thing I have to say is that whatever I felt while failing, it did feel like that's it. There's no point.
But a lot of people who, like, let's say, fail in this uni, they choose to, let's say, go to another uni, like maybe in Prague or Poland or somewhere else. What made you still stay in Everson?
I think it's the idea that I have to move and I have to potentially repeat a year there. Exactly, and I'm already comfortable here. I know how things work here, but I definitely wish that I had the courage to just, after failing the first time, to just like let my parents know and move me. But it's been done and dealt with, whatever.
Yeah.
But I just think that personally, it's to me, it's worth it right now. Because of whatever I'm feeling right now, I love it. I love going to patho classes. I love going for internal and seeing patients. I love being able to, go for, get excited about stethoscope, like just we spoke about. So all this to me is just really, really amazing. So I don't see myself.
I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you like have that perspective.
Exactly. So, but I really wish that people, whoever is going through that moment right now where they feel like, oh, I failed, I'm already a disgrace, I'm not going to be a good doctor. It's so not worth it to think like that. Personally speaking, I thought I was the dumbest. How can someone fail I don't know anyone who failed 3 years and still stayed here, except a couple of other people, but that is different. Like, they had a whole different scenario. But personally, I feel like I'm the biggest failure I've known. But when you mature and when you grow up, especially when you have time to come to third year and do all the things, it's just so much more rewarding. You forget about all the failed years. Personally speaking, I just don't care about it anymore. I take it as a learning lesson. Yeah, I take it as a learning lesson and move on. There's no point in dwelling over it. I did enough of that. I can tell you, I did enough of that. And I pestered a lot of my close people over this. So I'm so thankful to my family and my friends who even dealt with me during that time, because I was a mess. Every day to wake up and think, oh, I have to do this exam. I have to feel like I have to excel in this. If I don't, what if I fail another year? By the way, the trauma of failing is always there.
Real. Yeah.
It's always there. Anyone who's failed, the trauma of failing is always there.
That like fear of failing is not going to go away for a while.
Yeah, for someone like me, even failing a chance is a big deal. To me, if I fail a chance, that's it. I'm afraid, what if I fail this year? I'm already thinking way ahead in a negative way. So that's the only drawback, I would say. But other than that, I think I'm so happy where I am right now. And I would definitely have it other ways, but right now I wouldn't have it any other way.
Is there anything you wish you had known when you were coming?
I wish I had known that the university itself is hard, not the education as much.
Right.
Yeah, because the education isn't that bad. Like, honestly speaking, I think I have been through worse in terms of education. Have you guys done A-levels? That's
yes.
horrible. Are you kidding me? Like, that was education pressure. I don't feel education pressure here until exam period. But that's my own personal problem. That's because I don't take anything seriously until then. But I wish people told me that it's hard to get support here. And communication is bad, actually. Yeah. So you really have to be your own advocate. No one else is going to do that for you.
That's very true.
So no one else is going to... I wish people told me that more. Yeah.
And what would you like us to talk about in the future?
Of Debrecen?
No,
of
our podcast.
Oh, of your podcast. Oh, I'd really like to know the small businesses and how they're doing. Like,
which ones?
Like any small businesses, how they, because I actually did start a small business, but that one I stopped it really quick, and that was like about desi cooking and stuff. But it's so funny because I took what I like as a hobby and tried to make a profession out of it, which is not a great thing, because once I made it a profession, I was like, no, I don't like this anymore. Yeah, exactly. And my motivation behind it was also not the greatest. Okay. it was like, oh, maybe I'll make some bucks out of it. But it's not easy to make bucks out of it. It's just pressure, and you care too much about what people will think. Like when you're cooking for yourself as hobby, you don't care how it's going to turn out. But when you're cooking for other people, it has to be perfect. So to me personally, I want to know how small businesses out here are thriving, because some of them are really doing so well.
You know who I want on this podcast? I want Brown Girl Brownie on this podcast.
Yeah, yes, I want to know. And even the cinnamon girl, like there's a oh my god, I don't know.
Roll?
Yeah, cinnamon rolls. Is that the name of the page?
Cinnamon Rolls Debrecen or something.
Yeah, but their food looks so good.
Yeah.
And there's also like a cake company, like really
Anne's
cute.
Cake?
Yeah. It's so beautiful. It's so cute. So I want to know
Who these people are.
Yeah, who these people are. Who came up with so much confidence to start all this, and how is it thriving? Because they're doing really well.
They all do well.
Yeah, and also this jewelry company, Mary Moji.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually got a bracelet from her, and it's the most adorable thing ever. She like laced it with perfume. She wrote a cute letter. It was so adorable. So yeah,
So cute.
That's amazing. I didn't know.
Yeah, me too. I didn't know about the jewelry.
yeah, it's actually so beautiful, and that's what I want to know, because Debrecen is closed off in a lot of ways, right? Because it's so how do I say, not exposed to a lot of things. That's why international students get to bring their idea into it and expand.
Instagram
here.
pages thrive.
Exactly, Instagram pages here are thriving. So I'm telling you, the community here is good in that sense. Like they really have. They're really excited to see what new.
And you know, these are not the only ones. There's like traditional food pages as well for all kinds of cuisine. Like there's Chinese food, Vietnamese food.
Yeah, and manti plav.
Yeah, manti plav, the Kazakh food.
Quick shout out to Sugar Ray Serenade. In our previous episode, we were eating her food.
She made
Nigerian
like,
food.
Oh, really?
Puff Puff and Zobo.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
I've heard about puff puff. Isn't it like the pillow, like
a
airy
soft
pillow?
dough,
Yeah,
yeah.
with the powdered sugar on top. Oh my god.
It's so
Amazing.
good.
Yeah. So that I want to know more about that, and also if
That's a
any,
great answer.
yeah, and also I really want to know about the living situations here, also the rent.
Yeah.
Who's paying that kind of high rent? How are they coping?
Yeah.
Because
Real.
personally, my owner, I scammed him in the sense that he doesn't really read the contract. So when he wanted to make it for 2 years, I made it for 5 years. So he didn't even, so he wanted to change the rent like last month, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, that's not happening until 2016 because, oh no, not 2016, 2026, actually not even 2025. And he was just like, oh really, when did that? I'm like, I don't know. And so I really scammed him into that, but yeah, I want to
You
know.
want me to leave that in case he hears?
Oh yeah, he's really old. I don't think he's gonna hear it.
He's not going to be on Spotify podcasts.
No, he's not gonna. So, but he's really nice. He's one of the nicest. Oh, you guys had a podcast about that, right?
We had a bit of a chat about
nightmares.
that. We did. But we haven't really, I guess we could talk a little bit more about rent inflation.
Yeah.
Like inflation in general here, like what are people doing to cope with that? Maybe
100%. We're going to talk about budget for sure.
Yeah, because a lot of people that come here, we're actually students, and I don't know if Hungarians even realize we really don't come with deep pockets.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't.
We talked about it like in that episode, like with Zain, that most of it is because of the BMW group. BMW group pays rent for the employees, something like that, and they tend to pay those prices, and that's why like the
Prices
places,
are getting
especially
higher,
around
yeah.
uni, they're getting high because they're finding the audience for it, basically.
Are you kidding?
And students are the ones.
I've seen a lot of Desi people around Everson recently, like that.
Yeah, same. Also, a lot of Asian parents as well. I don't know if they're coming just to visit or they're coming to like live here.
I think it's work.
Yeah, but I see a lot of Asian businesses also here, like the Korean the new Korean shop that opened. Doyan?
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw a picture of it.
Korean
I
or Chinese?
it's Korean. Yeah. I went to it recently. It's really good.
Is the one next to Shish Mahal?
No. This is a little bit more inside. You know where the pancake place is, 40-ish.
Palachinta. So
Yeah, it's there. It's around there.
Oh,
So-
I think I know where it is. Okay.
It's really
I saw a
good.
sign for it.
It's a little pricey, but it's really good.
Do you have like
Yeah.
a certain dish?
Their barbecue was so good. It was so good. It was so worth it. It was actually, it felt like good quality meat.
Time to get sponsored.
Yeah, please. I would eat that for free all the time. It's so
Oh
good.
my god, also flamingo! We forgot
Flamingo,
to
my
mention flamingo.
beloved.
You know what? Kudos to them for getting the karak here. Biggest,
Success ever.
Alhamdulillah.
yeah, like it's the biggest home. Like it's home. It feels like
Yeah.
home.
Like Flamingo,
Yeah.
if you're listening, I am literally there every single afternoon.
It is it just for the vibes alone. It is the best. I actually see people hang out there, and it's so nice. It's the because it reminds. Have you? Any of you lived in UAE?
Yeah, me.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
You know those small like cafeteria and cars pull up and people
Yeah.
just have karak and they're chilling outside.
And they
It's
chat.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they have that in Pakistan as well.
Yeah.
There's like dhabas for
Yeah,
that. There's like
exactly.
chai places. You sit in your car with like naan and chai and you vibe. It's really nice.
It's such a vibe. So just the fact alone that they brought karak into the city,
amazing.
please, that is you need to up that. Everyone needs to know about
I don't
karak.
know if you've been there in one of the Ramadan nights, but like the night that we went in, there was like a huge line lining up for
Huge
Karam.
crowd, yeah.
And we were just like amazed. Oh my god, so many people are coming for chai.
And we were having such a good time too, just hanging out with our friends there, you know?
Yeah.
I love it. I love
That
it.
area is amazing. And I really, really want them to get that shop that closed down, the one with the seating.
There's like an
Yeah.
or like an Asian
Mhm.
restaurant
That'd be
there.
awesome because like they have
Yeah.
these chairs.
The only thing they could be selling is karak and a couple of drinks, and it would do well. Like
Yes.
it's
you
just
had, like, a
purely for the
smoothie
vibe.
as well,
Yeah,
too, I guess.
I actually unfortunately I haven't, and I don't want to come off as I only did it because of karak, but I actually only went to them because of karak at the
definitely
beginning,
went.
and because honestly speaking, I usually make it at home, but it's just different
It's
to
just
go
different.
somewhere
To
and
go
have
somewhere
it.
and have
Yeah,
honestly, I
exactly.
understand what you mean.
Like I know that the way they make it is not how we make it.
Yeah.
I just go there for
I
the
just
vibes.
go there for the vibe.
Yeah.
The vibe of getting like karak from a place. Like I missed that so much.
Yeah.
From home. I can't tell you.
This one time, actually, my friend and I, we were chilling outside, and after we were done eating, I was just like, you know what? Let's just go get karak and walk home. Like
Yes,
that's all I
yes.
want to do, and that's literally all we did. We just got karak, we walked home.
Wow.
perfect.
Okay. Now I want karak.
Me too.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the 6th episode of Demystifying Jefferson.
Thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure having you today.
Thank you for having me. I would have never expected.
We are fans.
Thank you
And
so
fun fact,
much.
I have never met anyone from Bangladesh before.
Really?
Oh.
Like it's a very nice thing. Like to me, like I love making friends from all the nationalities.
Oh, that's really cute. I'm actually very familiar with Egyptian. But,
All right. You can find us, of course, everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, if you like. Please share with your friends. Please subscribe. And we'll see you next time.
Yay!